Well, 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 guys. I guess I was wrong. I guess Notoriety was never stolen after all. Is what I would say if I was actually wrong, but I'm not at all. So about a year ago, I made a video talking about how Notoriety was a stolen game. For those who don't know what Notoriety is, it is a one-to-one direct ripoff of Payday 2. In my video, I said that it was a one-to-one direct ripoff of Payday 2, and because of that, I didn't believe that the people behind it, Moonstone Games and their CEO Evan Pickett, should be making money off of someone else's ideas and somebody else's concepts, somebody else's maps, the whole 9 yards, because, well, that's just not right. And normal, rational people were like, yeah, that isn't right. And fools, children, and people that otherwise were obsessed with Notoriety decided that that wasn't the case, and you should be able to steal stuff as long as I'm playing the stuff that's stolen, it's fine. Now that being said, the results of that were, well, yeah, the game got taken down. And the game got taken down because, surprise, surprise, it was a one-to-one ripoff of Payday 2, and the people behind Payday 2, Overkill, and by proxy, Starbreeze Entertainment, the people who actually own Overkill Studios, the developers behind Payday, yeah, I can only imagine they didn't want this free-to-play ripoff on Roblox taking people away from their upcoming game Payday 3 as well as Payday 2. But that now segues us into current day. As of today, recording this, the 16th of December 2024, Notoriety has relaunched as Notoriety: A Payday Experience, an officially licensed game by Starbreeze Entertainment on the Roblox platform. And because Notoriety is back, the comments section of that original Notoriety video is, well, it's a bit of a mess. Liar.
LMFAO,
LMFAO. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are really full of themselves in the comments section, but I'm not entirely sure why. Whether it be this aged like milk or who's laughing now, I'm laughing now. Still. I'm still laughing. No, but seriously, the game got taken down because it was stolen, and then it came back under an official licensing agreement. And that's the thing that I think a lot of these people are missing, probably because they're children, and that's the interesting thing that comes from being a YouTuber that predominantly, unfortunately, has to interact with children, is sometimes I feel like this is more of an educational channel than anything, because I have to explain to these kids how the world works. So if you're a kid and you don't know how the world works, I'm gonna give you an adulting lesson right now about licensing agreements, because apparently that's something we have to do. So enjoy. If you own a property and you have the rights to that property, obviously nobody else can directly steal the property that you're using. So to give you an easy example, Disney owns a lot of properties. If you want to use Mickey Mouse, you can't use Mickey Mouse. And the reason that you can't use Mickey Mouse is because Disney owns that. So if you wanted to put Mickey Mouse in your video game, for example, if you did that, then Disney could come after you and say, hey, you have to take this down, you're infringing on our copyright, you can't do that. And so then the question becomes, if you are someone that isn't Disney, how do you use Mickey Mouse without breaking the law? In comes a licensing agreement. The exact same thing that's happened with Notoriety. You go to the owner of said property and you say, hey, I'd like to use your property, let's make a deal. Now what that deal is when it comes to Notoriety, I can't quite figure it out. That information might be public somewhere, but after doing some digging, I'm coming up empty. Generally speaking, a lot of licensing agreements involve royalties. So in other words, the creator gets a percentage of profits based on whatever the creator is making. I imagine this is what's happening with Notoriety, where whatever Notoriety makes, Starbreeze takes a cut. That's probably what's going on, but it could be any number of things. Frankly, I'm not sure. For all I know, the licensing agreement was for free press, and Starbreeze decided that Notoriety was simply worth being an advertisement for Payday and nothing more. I doubt it, but that's definitely possible. That being said, the inclination that my video talking about how Notoriety was stolen is somehow now aged like milk doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because at the point that the video was made, It was absolutely stolen. And not only that, but in my opinion, we're almost in the best possible timeline at current. And the reason that I say that is for several reasons. The first reason is the fact that Notoriety ever got taken down to begin with. Usually people just sort of get away with stealing stuff on Roblox. Even when it comes to just stealing other games on Roblox, oftentimes it's easier said than done to get those things taken down. I made a video a long time ago about YBA AU, and that game sat around despite being literally a copy-paste of YBA's codebase forever, and I believe was removed relatively recently because they decided to steal stuff from TCA, and then TCA was like, yeah, actually no, and for some reason that got stuff done. I don't know the back end. But either way, generally speaking, stolen shit doesn't go anywhere on Roblox unless drastic actions are taken. And so seeing some drastic actions taken for something that was blatantly stolen was a really good thing. Now, in present day, Notoriety coming back and being officially licensed by Starbreeze is also a really good thing. And that's because for all of those people who were upset that the game was gone, as well as the people behind it, who I'm sure did put plenty of effort into it, whether they knew that they were just directly stealing this or not, the people who made it get to continue to make money off of the game without just directly stealing profits from the original creators of the project. And the people who still wanted to play the game can play the game effectively as if nothing happened. With the added benefit of the fact that Evan and Moonstone Games don't need to tiptoe around Payday anymore, and they can just use whatever stuff from Payday they want. I'm sure that opens up a treasure trove of stuff that they're able to put into their game now, which is good for them. And then the final and probably best thing to come out of this situation is it does set a sort of precedent here. That precedent being that if something does have licensed material in it, the only solution isn't to just nuke it from orbit. Because there are a lot of games on the Roblox platform that have a lot of time and effort put into them, but they also rely heavily on licensed content. Whether it be anime games or otherwise, if you really look at things objectively, Roblox is almost sort of a ticking time bomb. There's so much stolen licensed stuff on here, it is incomprehensible. And so the fact that there's any precedent at all for a game being taken down and then coming back after being officially licensed is really good for the entire platform as a whole, in my opinion. Now, I've said all of these things, but there is one thing that sort of still confuses me to this day, and it's not really super relevant, but I felt the need to bring it up anyway after jumping on to play the game again, because I did want to wait until the game actually re-released before I talked about it, which is one of the reasons that I didn't initially talk about this when the first announcement that it was coming back came out. And what I mean by that is, after playing the game some more, a whole bunch more than I did when I initially played it, I have to wonder if they ever really needed the Payday endorsement to begin with, and why they didn't just cut all of the Payday stuff out of their game. I know they still have creative control over the game, and I'm sure that the licensing agreement that they took wasn't egregiously bad for them, but that being said, I feel like if they had just not directly one-to-one ripped Payday off, they would have been just fine. There are heists in this game that are relatively original with original concepts that don't just directly rip off Payday. And those are things that people told me in the previous video, and that's all well and good, but when you have those in conjunction with stuff that's blatantly stolen, well, it doesn't really matter at that point. And so again, I just have to wonder, why would they not, after all of this time, go ahead and remove all the Payday crap, make their own UI stuff, make their own missions, and then go, well, it's an inspired game. We didn't steal anything from you guys. It's our game. Bada boom, bada bam. They never would have had to go through any of this nonsense if they'd done that. And maybe the overall Payday deal ended up just being better at the end of the day than doing that, and that's why they decided to do that route. I have no idea. But it's just very confusing to me why they didn't just make a more inspired game instead of just ripping things one-to-one. Like, you didn't need the jewelry store heist. You could have just done your own jewelry store heist that wasn't a one-to-one copy of Payday's. I don't know, man. Either way, I am happy to report that if you'd like to go play Notoriety, it'll be linked in the description. It's a relatively decent game, albeit with some very questionable systems still in place. Stuff like the fact that if you're playing alone, you can't give your bags of money to your AI teammates, which means that if there's a lot of bags on the mission, you're gonna be doing a lot of moving bags. Here's a nice time lapse of my bag running. And of course, there's the fact that the AI is still questionable. Yeah, it's AI, all right. Oh God. But either way, the game's decent. It's got a good amount of stuff in it. If you want to jump in for a little bit, or you just don't have the funds for payday, I'd recommend it. And overall, I'm pretty much done here. I don't know if this is what people expected from the video that I put out when it comes to talking about Notoriety again. I don't know why there aren't more people who thought that I'd be happy about this, because my entire first video was hoping that it got taken down specifically because it was stolen. And now it's not stolen, and people get to play it. So everybody wins. So I don't see why people thought that I would be heartbroken or crushed or, yeah, I don't get it. Either way, we're done. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. If you didn't, don't. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.